you. I have the pleasure of introducing Vitek today, our guest. Vitek graduated as a professional dancer from the State Ballet School in Gdansk, Poland. He has performed well in Poland in the musical theater, the Grand Opera, the Ballet Theater, and the National Dance Company of Poland, where he toured throughout North America after a successful performance. Sorry, guys, there's my speaker now. I apologize. Where he toured throughout North America. After successful performances in Hamilton Place, he decided to stay permanently in Canada. And in 1982, after his defection, he ran and operated his own dance school in Burlington and Hamilton area. And as a side note, Vitek, I do have to say that you look exactly the same as I remember you. I was part of the Chaika Ukrainian dancers in the 80s with my father, Yaroslav Klun, and I took ballet classes from Vitek during my time there. So lovely to see you again.
Right, that was my first job.
It was your first job, and we loved having you. We learned so much, and many of our students actually continued on with Vitek in his classes in Burlington and with the Nutcracker. So it was a lovely part of my adolescence. So it's a pleasure to see you again.
Thank you.
Vitek was the founder and artistic director of the Canadian Ballet Youth Ensemble from 1991 to 2005. Providing talented young dancers the opportunity of working closely with professional artists, dancers, musicians, composers, and choreographers. And during his artistic leadership, he created, choreographed, and produced full-length productions, such as the ballet Snow White with the original music score by Bogdan Pawlowski, and many successful performances in Canada. Snow White was then invited to Kyiv, Ukraine for an international theater and dance festival. Beginning in 1991, the Hamilton Philharmonic Orchestra commissioned Vitek to create and choreograph a series of productions geared to young audiences. And in 1993, he invited the Ballet de Napoli to dance the award-winning ballet Marco Polo on a 3-city tour of Hamilton, Toronto, and Montreal. In 1995, Vitek approached choreographer Robert Desrosiers to create a modern dance version of Pinocchio for the Canadian Ballet Youth Ensemble and toured extensively throughout Ontario and abroad. In 1997, he created, choreographed, and produced the full-length ballet Hamilton Nutcracker, to which many of my friends participated, with 30 dancers from the Kyiv Ballet Theater in Ukraine, and this was done at the Hamilton Philharmonic and with 90 of the local dancers. It played to sold-out houses in Hamilton Place Theater for 8 consecutive years. Since 1996, Vitek has been the founder and program director for Culture for Kids in the Arts, a registered charitable organization dedicated to providing high-quality arts experiences to children and youth, regardless of their financial circumstances, as well as promoting and engaging in arts and education. And to date, the CKA has provided arts experiences in the school system to over 45,000 children and youth, and that's phenomenal. That same year, the government of Poland honored Vitek with a cultural merit for outstanding contributions in the arts. And in 1997, he also received and expanded the 100-year legacy, he also revived and expanded the 100-year-old legacy of the Hamilton Conservatory of Music into the Hamilton Conservatory for the Arts, with over 100 programs in music, dance, drama, and visual arts. In 2001, he founded the HCA Dance Theater, a nonprofit organization which is dedicated to professional arts and the creation of new innovative works in dance, music, drama, and visual arts. He's been honored with several awards, including a critically acclaimed production, including his critically acclaimed production of Displacement, featuring Christos Hadzig and Robert Glumbeck, and which was honored as a top 10 dance performance in Ontario. And in 2001, Vitek was the recipient of the City of Hamilton Community Arts Award and was also nominated as an RBC Citizen of the Year for Hamilton. Rotarians, we welcome Vitek to our meeting today. And I, for one, would like to thank you for all of the wonderful programs you've brought to the City of Hamilton to all of the kids, myself having experienced them as well. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me today in those special times and special days we're all experiencing. And just the one thing I have to say, that children are our best investment ever we have, personal, but also as a country, as a community. And that thought kept me throughout. First days I came to Canada, and I still continue my feelings. I'm not changed at all. And you know, I'm Polish by birth, but I'm Canadian by choice. And this is my payback in a way to this beautiful country who welcomed me. I had only $2.50 in my pocket and no language. And that was at the time there was communism. I was not able to go back ever see my mom. I didn't ever expect that the communists will fall apart. That was out of our minds and not thinking. So when that happened, I joined my mother and everything. And since that my mission was to give it back to this country, this community, everything what I've learned in the past and what I achieved. And thanks to you, all of you and children, I am who I am today. And one of the things I always remember my early years when I was going to school, I was one of the poorest in Poland. Being poorest in Poland is a difficult thing to be, because there was no social agency, there was nothing. You're poor, you're poor. We're moving on. And my single mom and my brother were kind of learning the lesson of the life or early years. And that really affected me and who I am today. So I found this organization because when I came here, I created some ballets for the children, and like a Hamilton Philharmonics asked me to create a programming. And what I realized that only the outside downtown Hamilton children will come and participate into Hamilton Place. We had beautiful orchestra, we had beautiful conductor, we have everything, whatever you luxury, beautiful place. But the children from downtown, Hess Village School and other never came, and they were so close. So I went to the school and I said, well, what happened? I put the tickets are too expensive because it was $4 just to pay our expense for the rental from the city. And they will participate. So they invite me to the green room in the teacher's room in Hess Village, the principal, and said, how many of you bring the boots for the winter to the kids? How many of you bring the food for them? And I couldn't believe it that a rich country like Canada, those things happening. So we're not thinking about the arts, we're thinking about survival. So I said, you know, to participate in the arts is a right, not privilege. So when I had the school, private school, I see the kids coming from all this well-to-do communities and part of the Hamilton in this region, but the children in the inner cities never been there. So I felt like I had to do something because I was one of them. So I created Culture for Kids in Arts. And first thing what I did, I went to high school, 400 tickets and give away to those children. And I said, okay, we're gonna arrange the bus. No, we can walk. So that's how I started Culture for Kids in Arts. And today we're celebrating the arts. The arts are not playground for the rich. Arts are essential part of our upbringing, essential part for any human. You see now in Ukraine, there's orchestra playing. There's piano players when the bomb explodes. In Second World War was the same thing. Orchestra and singers will come into the battlefields to perform, to enhance the spirit. So it's the natural thing for us to absorb the arts. And I think by investing in the children, we will succeed as a country and as a world in giving them opportunity to express themselves, to be inspired, to have their voice. So therefore, I created programming. And I give you a little bit ideas about the programming, after school programs. You know, the biggest problem in North America, probably everywhere around the world, what do you do from the kids when the parents work till 6 o'clock and the children finish the school 4 o'clock? What are they gonna do in that empty time? So we created a program called After School Programs, which has 20 locations and serves every month of the year, throughout the year. And we hire professional artists in teaching the kids and giving them experiences and introduce them to the arts, music, dance, drama, visual arts. Another program is Artesia program, where it's more environmental. You mentioned today about the water. Children have to learn early about the importance of environment. This is the biggest topic right now in the world. Number one topic in the world is our environment. What we're leaving for those children, what we're gonna leave. So we're teaching them all different things. For example, we use recycled materials to create art. They bring it from home, they think so they don't wanna use it, card boxes and everything, and they create art of it. So that is, you have nothing and you create something, people are impressed. So it's not necessarily, oh, I don't have paint brushes, I don't have this paints and everything. So it's not about that. It's about, you have nothing, you have no money, nothing, but you have to create something, seeing potential. Resonance Choir is from, we created 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. I'm sorry, Ron Joyce Center Health Center, Ron Joyce Children Health Center, is about children with disabilities. It's 5,000 children there. And there was respiratory problems with some of the children, and they sign up for some music classes and vocal classes because they're breathing. And I said, no, we're gonna create a choir for those children. So we call that Resonance Choir. This is 5 years already in operations. And we have children with the different abilities and singing with us, performing with us and everything. So that's the Resonance Choir. The another one is Artworks Training Program. Post-secondary students, they graduated in the arts-related professions and they don't know what to do, where to go, how to, because the school just give them the knowledge, but doesn't give them the practicum. So we create that program. So they work with our children and they're gaining experience and we're introducing them. Some of them end up being on our staff already. Another program, Arts Matter. You know, why arts? Why arts so important? So we want to introduce in my 1090 speeches and everywhere I talk, and I'm gonna talk today for a second, 1090. If you look at all recreation centers in Hamilton, and there's lots of them, there's 10% of the arts, 90% of the sports. The way they're building and designing the recreation centers, there's 1090. So even now, as they're building, so the arts have no room and particular attention because they may be high specialists or something like that. But we need to create a balance. Why we call that recreation? Maybe we should call that sports recreation centers. Recreation includes arts, and they need to be cherished and invested in it, because there are sometimes parents, single mom has 3 kids, she cannot afford to send to conservatory her kids. What she does, but she feels guilt that those children don't have access to the arts. So the access is the biggest thing for us. Create the access. So 80% of our focus is children with the disabilities and also with the financial restraints and inabilities. So now we had to change the name to Arts for All, because we've learned so far, and pandemics taught us and all other stuff, that the culture for the kids is great name, but at the time, 25 years ago. But now it's Arts for All. Inspiration to wellness. This is, you know, the children not natural to isolation and into they open to be social involved. So there will be intellectual poverty problems, there will be the spiritual poverty, but also there's all other sense. So the arts can bring those kids back. So we right now developing lots of programming focusing on the mental aspects of the kids, bring them back into something they love to do and they used to do, and for 2.5 years, 3 years, they didn't have it. So it's very important for us. So let me explain you what is the Diamond Vision. Diamond Vision was our alignment and what we do. So Diamond Vision has 3 principles: children voices. We would like children to speak and to talk about the issues and to build the future with us together. Not when they're 18 and they go somewhere else because they didn't feel the connection with the community. Children, speak to us how you feel about the pandemics. So we're gonna create a program with children who express. And you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna be very optimistic. The children see positive things. They don't see what is behind politics and anything. They see what they needed and they express. They're very resilient, probably more resilient than we. We just have to trust abilities and we can learn from the children lots of things because their imagination is pure. We are conducted by the things what are behind the scenes and politics and everything. They go straight forward. We can learn a lot of things. Imagination. You know, you can graduate from McMaster University, but if you don't be prepared and exercise to use the knowledge in imaginative way, you're not going to create anything new. You're going to be stuck to the textbook. So the other one is seeing potential. I explained you already about, give you an example about, we don't have this, but we have so many other beautiful things and able to see the potential for this and build it for it. So like, recycle materials and everything else. There are pillars. So this is the principles, pillars, art education. We must have in our education system art programs. The art programs are first one to cut out of, if there's any problem with the money, arts go. That's a mistake. Environmentalists, you mentioned about the water. It's the most important issue in this. So again, by using recycled materials, they're saving the world. They're saving the nature and waste. City engagement, engage them and listen to what they say, what the kind of world they would like to have in the future, where they want to live. Not us, we're gonna be gone. They're gonna take over. So our job is to prepare the environment for them, which will carry them and make a sense of belonging. They belong to this community and this country and this world. Another one is innovation. Find the new ways of doing. Be creative. Don't just follow, because this is what will put this country ahead of any countries, of the children and the ability to use their imagination and use the knowledge and then turn into the imagination. So those things are very important. But the storytelling, how are we going to deliver that? Kids love to hear the stories. And we can include those stories about their culture, about their lives, about things, what they being inspired the most, and use that as a vehicle, educational vehicle for the future. So the last one is why Arts for All, the name, one of the reasons why Arts for All is EDI, equality, diversity, inclusion. So this is our alignment. If we choose to do any program or choose the story, or where we go through our Diamond Vision, from the inspiration to the wellness. Wellness, not just the medical wellness, but wellness on your mind, wellness of the neighborhoods, wellness of the community. Healthy people, inspired people. That's our focus. So the logo, we have the crane. We're creating right now, why we're here today and asking you, we create a campaign to help to set up our goals, to make sure that we can inspire more children in the future and create more spaces for them so they can participate and have access to the arts. Inspiration builds ambitious people. Ambitious people become successful people. Successful people create a strong and successful neighborhoods, community, country, and the whole world. And I don't think I probably missed so many things, but I guess if this is what I would like to present today. Thank you.
Fantastic. Questions, anyone? I'm sure there are questions.
I'm sorry, I forgot to say one thing. That till date, 62,000 children got for free music, dance, drama, art classes for half a year. Our children don't pay a penny. We raise the money.
Great. So
that's how we deal with the access.
Vitek, that was one of my questions actually, so I have several questions, but I don't want to hog the mic here, but your funding, to get started is one thing, but to sustain it for as long as you have, do you have regular funders that you go back to? Do you have to, right, create fundraising events, etc.? Because that's a whole other ball game, right?
Right. That's the hardest part, but we don't have so much hard because we know why we're fundraising and the purpose why we're fundraising. That keeps us going. But what we've learned that we've been very successful with the grants from the foundations and the government. But we're not as successful on the local aspect, donations from the members of this community and businesses from this community, this thing. So we try to balance our and diversify our fund development by asking clubs like yours and others ones, and maybe local businesses, local individual donations. And that will give us, because, sometimes with the funders, whoever is at the table, they make a decision. So it's kind of 1 year you get, 1 year you don't get. People change the jobs. Some person thinks priority is going there. So it's not as secure, it's not sustainable as we would like to have. So that's why we create this campaign, the campaign, which is a crane campaign, and to balance that in the sustainability, fund development sustainability. We could do it more if we could balance that. We could engage more children than we engage now. There's lots of children and social agencies waiting. They said, we would like to have art programs for our children, like Boys and Girls Club and all other, and we just limited to the amount of money we get, because we hire very high professionals, because I think those children deserve to have the best top people, because they're the ones who need it the most. They don't have time to go to conservatory or money to take the classes in the ballet, music, and all other stuff. So I hire very top people, and they cost money in respect to their profession.
Great, thank you. Questions from anyone else for Vitek?
I'm just wondering about your staffing. I know you just said you hire a lot of professionals, which of course would be critical, but do you also have a group of volunteers that work with you, or do you ask parents to step in?
Yeah, we parents get involved for the conservatory because they're the ones who can afford it. And we're always addressing to them, but we want to hire professional volunteers. Volunteerism is extremely important for us, but it's just the matter who, somebody has to put their hands on it and go deeper, but they need to be paid too. So we pay attention for that, and conservatory helps a lot. We have 3 organizations working. Arts for All is for the children and families. Conservatory is a private school, and which will become soon Legacy will become charitable. We're working on it on Legacy right now, making sure that the conservatory continue for another 120 years. Nobody, when I took a conservatory over, nobody want to touch it because wrong visibility, big expense to have, and lots of things to. It was demolished basically, the border up and everything. So I brought it back, but I'm gonna give it back to the community. I cannot take that with me. So I'm working on the Legacy right now. That's why we're creating local partnerships to make sure that it's not me only who takes care of it, but the community takes care of it. Because 120 years was serving, it was built for that reason. Hamilton Philharmonics came up from Duet Club, all the major organizations, that was the hub. And it was boarded up when the bankruptcy, and I pick up from zero. I lived there for a long time because I couldn't afford it to pay my rent if I would have conservatory. So it was journey, but again, the passion I have for what I do and understanding from my background from the early years and to now, it makes sense to me. And I'm one of the luckiest person there is that I focus on that direction.
Do you ever get involved with, like, for example, I'm thinking in my community, Bimbrook, they're talking about building a recreation center. And I must confess, I have absolutely no idea whether or not there's space for any of the arts in this. I'm automatically.
There's not much.
So do you approach council with those kinds of things, with your ideas?
I approach everybody to the point,
Okay.
to the point that the director of culture, because of my request, in the 30 years, for the first time, met with the director of recreation centers. Never before. They afraid of the specialty artists have, and they're afraid how they're going to maintain, and they have already set up the thing. So the arts are kind of the block, stumble block. If you look at, I look at the city did the study, even if you have that 10%, out of that 10%, maybe 1% is utilized. If you look at the study, is bad. And I think it's important that for the people who cannot afford private classes or anything, to have access for those children and those families, and should be affordable, not like a private schools who have to pay the taxes and all that. They have lots of expenses. But the city, when I ask them for the maybe last 15, 20 years, they always say the arts have cap. And the cap is $1 million, or maybe 2 million, they increase it now. $2 million is nothing for that big city. And we want to build the city on the modern and best ways to bring which city is talking, make the place, Hamilton, make the place, the best place to raise the child. They just using the slogan. They're not doing anything when it comes to arts. Sports, no problem, but say, okay, money, sports money. Okay, so if you look at study of Ontario government did, that if you compare the income for the all arts and entertainment, people who buying tickets and getting involved, and the sports, arts and entertainment surpass 8 times the income and money. So if they're looking for money, they have opportunity. I'm sorry I get emotional about it, but this is my long journey of trying to convince city and nobody hears me. They always say, we have a cap, nothing we can do. I said, so what happened if I grow? I grow right now. More people waiting, doesn't matter. The council will never pass it. So I got for the last 6 years, I asked for 40,000 to support our staff, to build the staff, so I don't have to do everything, 10 jobs. They give me 10, punishing me, but scoring me 89 on the board %. And 62,000 kids got it for free for us. That they like that. So, and for 5 years, they didn't move $1 for me. 10,000 is still there. It's like here's, close your mouth and move on, and do it because you're passionate, and you will do it. So this is the true story. I'm not complaining. I love the city, but I love more than they think. I want the kids to have access. This is rich country. We can afford it.
Well, we hear your passion, Vitek. Thank you. Any more questions from anyone? Okay. Malena, are you going to do the honors?
Well, I want to thank Vitek and Jane for coming to our meeting and the presenting. Was really, I knew a little bit about it. I didn't know a lot. The reason I know a little bit about it because I was involved with Ontario Trillium Foundation, and they would ask for money. Everybody asked for money, but there's only so much money to give. And then I found out that all this, and I thought it would be worthy speaker. That's why I wanted Vitek to speak to us. And I want to thank him for taking his time and speaking to us.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for having me here.
And I think, if we didn't know it already, when the last 2 years where we've been forced to stay home, we really relied on the arts to keep us sane, entertained, whether that's, playing a piano if you can, or writing or drawing, or, in so many different ways. So we certainly appreciate the importance of the arts and wish you well in your endeavors, and let's keep in touch, Vitek. Okay,
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I
All the
just wanted to mention the studies. You all know probably this, but studies have done the kids who do the arts, they do better in school. So that's actually, so I'm sure everybody knows that, but I just thought I'll throw
The
that.
best schools in the world have mandatory arts programs, and they cannot believe it that you can have a school and no arts programs. But that helps imagination and helps them in mathematics, helps them in visualizing, it helps them to find who they are. Arts are very important. It's not just playground for the rich. It's essential.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have a website that we can visit for some more information?
Yes. Website. Jane, can you help me?
Yes.
Because it's new. Everything is new. I know there's CO. That's always confuses me.
Yeah. It's artsforall.co.
And Jane is our communication director, and works on us to making sure that we take care of that community knows and involve us with the community and helps us to spread the message and everything. So Jane, thank you very much for your doing. And
Thank you. Part-time, I'll stress part-time, because Vitek only has one full-time employee. So just, and thanks for the opportunity to be here. A quick note, Vitek was referencing his funding, and one of the interesting challenges is that that Arts for All, and formerly Culture for Kids in the Arts, has done so well with government funding and granting. And especially during the pandemic, I think many of you probably realized that there was a lot of money coming in from the government, for sure. So the last couple of years have been very positive in that sense, but looking towards legacy and profile and awareness in the community, that's why the Crane campaign is now just about to get underway to build that awareness and expand partnership into different facets of the community for funding, yes, but also for awareness building and spreading of the message of the arts being so important. So that's kind of part of the overall impetus here. So really grateful for the time with your team today. Thank you so much.
Just to mention, the Ontario Trillium Foundation is 100 million a year, except since we have COVID, the government has doubled the amount. But that's going back to 100 million only. Just wanted to let you know that.
And there will be an event on May 12th at the newly opened Black Box Theater at the center that will be under Arts for All, and will be also a celebration of Ontario Trillium funding for this past year. So it all comes together for sure.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much. And so what we're going to do now is move on with some club business. So you're welcome to stay on the call with us. It's another sort of 15 minutes or so. But if you need to drop off to go on about your day, please feel free to do so. You're not offending anyone, but
All right.
you're welcome either way. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet
Thank
you
you
both.
very